Kakashi is a no fucks given character. While it's true that I've watched anime like Pokemon and Digimon before Naruto, in my mind, I was watching a fun escapist kids show that could have branched into Teen Titans and Justice League just as easily as I could have become an anime fan. Naruto pushed me over that edge, and I'm grateful for all that, but if I had to label one character to get the full brunt of my gratitude, it would probably be Kakashi, and his bell test remains as one of my most cherished moments from the series, even up to this point. Well, you may be familiar with the term anime, and how in Japanese it means animation. This is only a more recent translation for this word. Maybe it's not quite like that now, what with anime getting much more mainstream and the like, but in the good old days, saying I like anime translates basically to, I like when people don't talk to me because I'm a fucking weirdo. Now, okay, maybe that wasn't a literal translation, but my Chinese isn't that great, you'll have to pardon me. And Naruto definitely did help me past that point, but luckily these days we have anime becoming much more mainstream altogether, which is a great segue to talk about my sponsor for this video, Amino Apps. So, these guys put together an amazing Boruto community, connecting the fan base, and just being able to chat with a lot of other people that are just like you. I have to say that Amino is probably the very best place to connect with people around the world who share your interests, and it has a community for every interest you can imagine. I'm personally enjoying the Attack on Titan ones, My Hero Academia, and I know this may not be for all of you, but I'm really loving the Undertale one as well. The Boruto Amino is the best place to get any new updates on the anime, aside from just connecting with friends and entering cool polls and contests. It's constantly updating, making everything easier and more enjoyable for anyone to use. For example, they just added this live layer feature where you could just do so many things at once. There's always someone to hang out with on Amino, and there's always something going on. It's great to see people that are actually passionate about anime express themselves on this app, and it's extremely welcoming to anyone who wants to join. I'm always curious to see what theories come up on this site and how it can change my perspective of the series. And it's also great to just, if you need a break, just chill in the chat rooms and talk to other like-minded people. Playing around with it, I made myself a poll. If you're here, do you just watch Naruto YouTubers or anime YouTubers in general? And I'd be curious to see what the results end up, so I'd love it if you went and actually voted. Also, feel free to follow me on Amino, Taku. Link to everything in the description. And now on with Kakashi. My favorite superhero always was Batman, and probably always will be. And while I don't want to get into that on a Kakashi video, they do have many resemblances as far as somber badasses. And getting addicted to Kakashi as a character was quite frankly really easy just from the bell test episode alone. As I've mentioned, I like Batman, so I've seen a give no fucks badass before. I have never seen, however, a character that can go from the perspective of a weirdo to cruelty to hilarity to pure mindfuckery genius. And another thing I love about him, Teen 7 didn't see it coming either. As far as the time of me writing this script, I have 2 other videos starring Kakashi on hold, so I will not be covering the same territory as far as his relatability and how brilliant his character writing and backstory and whatever are. I don't know what will show up first on my channel, probably this one, but either way, quality original content. One thing I always like to see in any character, no matter where, no matter what media, is continuity, because of the past and the aspirations of any character layered on top of their base personality. I expect the character to adapt to any situation with the tools he has in his hand and in his mind. My boy Kakashi does more than just the best of his ability. More than he wanted to squeeze some teamwork out of the younger Teen 7, he wanted to get some of that adaptability out of the little bastards by throwing them completely out of their comfort zone as solo fighters and giving them misinformation for them to figure out on their own and work past. And that stretches to his battle tactics as well, with his mind always working and always adapting on how to continuously fighting his opponent with his arsenal of 1,000 jutsu, which for whatever reason he decides never ever ever to use, aside from the substitution jutsu, which is pretty much, I guess, one of his best ones, because I don't know how that fuck works anyway. Freaking teleporting. I don't know. This should have been an endgame jutsu. Anyway, I'm getting off topic, but my point is, he can take on inordinately strong and dangerous opponents despite his low chakra reserves. Out of his original squad of 3, and no matter how you want to look at it, his only real student that grew from his training in a positive way and light was Naruto.
But no, Sasuke learned the Chidori from him. That was an insanely useful jutsu. Oh my god, how can you misunderstand that?
Can you just calm your titties for a second, please? Thank you. Thank you. As far as the main sensei, Naruto had Kakashi. Even from his training with Jiraiya, who was the sensei of his father and grand sensei of his master, after 3 years of training, Naruto came back with some, baseline growth, but he especially had the ability to throw a big shuriken. Newsflash, he never did anything, because throwing shuriken to Naruto is basically equivalent to filler, but smaller than a lack of physical development, he had no major idealistic influence either. Aside from, we want peace, guys. Let's do peace stuff. There were things Jiraiya did right, many things at that, as far as a character, but now isn't really the time and place. The Rasen Shuriken Shadow Clone training is one of my favorite training arcs from any shonen because it took information readily available to us from its own respective universe and transformed it into a training method that, quite frankly, only Kakashi would think of, with his overly cynical personality, and that made him the perfect character type as well to deal with our favorite #1 knucklehead ninja. I said our favorite a little sarcastically, because quite frankly, Naruto's no one's favorite character. Unless you're looking at the Shonen Jump polls, which are probably rigged, cause come on, guys! And Kakashi was only able to do all this and relate to him so well because of how in Kakashi's heart he knew Naruto intimately. He always harbored a care for the little bastard. That was only really explained several hundred episodes later how Obito shared the same ideals as Naruto, and how Kakashi resents his own personal treatment of him, and how he can only wish to right his past wrongs. This is also easily remembered vividly, every single one of his waking moments of his life, by a goddamn eyeball that was shoved so far up his nose, it's lodged now in his eye socket for eternity. Or at least I'm pretty sure that's how eye transplants work. Someone volunteered to edit my top 5 Naruto backstory list, which will end up as a really long video, going really in depth. Spoilers! Kakashi's gonna be there. So as far as how Kakashi's backstory tilts his frame of reference for the series, I think I could move on for now, to leave the brunt of that for then. Especially because this video is focused on why Kakashi's the perfect sensei for Naruto and Boruto. So moving on, his emotional relationship to Naruto is pretty damn clear at this point. If you remember when Kakashi was growing up though, he was quite a stark contrast to Obito. He was very opposite. Kakashi grew up with no major goal he was focused on. In some ways, despite that, he was still stupidly overpowered, becoming a Jonin at 12. And despite his father being a badass hero dude, Kakashi still harnessed a massive hatred toward him for, quite frankly, doing the right thing, but he was just looked at in the wrong light. Sound familiar? Yeah! This is why Kakashi is the perfect sensei for Boruto as well. Not like how he saw his past, and he saw Obito in a character like Naruto. No, Kakashi's the perfect sensei for Boruto because he sees himself in the little bastard. Do we know a little bastard who's stupidly overpowered, who has no drive, who has an unjust hatred towards their father? Well, same freaking situation, boys, and that's why Kakashi's hand, even as a retired Hokage, was forced by his own mental burdens to pick up those training bells once again and try to whip Boruto into a ninja that can be respected, that won't make the same mistakes as Kakashi, and that will not lose his squad or himself. That's why, despite the Boruto series and its flaws and whatever, I'm freaking hyped for this Boruto-Kakashi relationship to actually happen. The reasoning behind making this video was pretty much solely because it was vastly requested by a surprisingly huge number of you to cover this Boruto versus Kakashi fight. So, here you go. This is my take on it. Well, that is, this is my take on everything about the fight without actually talking about the fight itself. Because honestly, I always held more of an interest in the situational aspects of a battle than necessarily the battle itself. Which is why I also intend to sometime in the near future throw together a top 5 Naruto fights, and it will likely be a 20+ minute video just because I'm going to talk about it in depth. And if I wouldn't talk about it in depth, quite frankly, I could just post the top 5 fights on Twitter. I don't need to talk about stuff that you already know. So, you can follow me on Twitter, of course. Link in the description. But yeah, this is my take on the situation surrounding the Kakashi versus Boruto fight, and why Kakashi was so eager to take part in this training exercise for some ninja kids. And yeah, your comments do influence my decision making on what video to put together, so feel free to let me know. I try to reply to comments, especially in the first few hours of uploading, so if you haven't yet, feel free to subscribble and hit that notification bell. Have yourself the most wonderful evening. Of course, I always appreciate if you liked the video, and I'll see all of you next time. And thank you so much, Mr. Anime Zone, not Giguk, but another Anime Zone, but also a badass for editing this video. If any of you want to edit any of my videos, feel free to let me know. Shoot me an email, nuxtaku@gmail.com. The link to the Anime Zone channel is in the description, and as a thank you for hitting 50 subs on his channel, he is doing a giveaway on an Xbox One and a $200 Visa gift card. I highly suggest you go check that out because his channel is growing, and the earlier you go, the better your odds are. Also, of course, feel free to, let him know I sent you. Be like, yo, Nux sends his regards. Great editing on that video, by the way. If you want to edit more, I'm sure Nux would really appreciate it. Wink, wink. Nux Kage out. Bye.